So while you're at the stockyards, if you bring your children, you'll see there's a little choo-choo train for your children or kids. You have relative kids out here watching. They do have copyright music that plays during all of it. Well, these cars are facing that direction. I don't know the price on the kid choo-choo train ride. I'm guessing $10 to $20, I don't know. Or it could be free, I don't know. But it goes through the stockyards. I don't know if parents can ride or what. There's the Dover. Looks like they're dressed up in period costume. Maybe for a play or something. It's like 1920s. There's some of the stockyards right there. One of the entrance to shopping and dining. So yeah, alright, so I got to see A.D.W.C's vlog. He did go north like I thought he was going to go, so I was right about that. But he went to Fairbanks. I thought he would stop it. I think they pronounce it Denali or Danili, but there's a mountain over there. There's also the Stampede Trail. I don't know if he's going to go to Healy. It looks like he passed through Healy if he went to Fairbanks. But Healy is where the Magic Bus is. That's Christopher McCandless' last stop. He died in August of 1992. He was born February 12th of 1968. John Krakauer wrote a book called Into the Wild, which Sean Penn made into a pretty good award-winning movie. Okay, so anyway, I thought he would stop at Healy and maybe go to the museum. They have a Alaskan museum there. It's called the Northern Museum or the Alaskan Museum or something like that. So I did do some research on the Magic Bus, also known as Bus 142, which was off the Stampede Trail. It was left there for a reason. So in the 1960s, they did a lot of construction work, and they used these buses to bus in the construction workers. Well, one of the buses, Bus 142, it actually broke an axle and was abandoned there. And that's how it started, because in the 1970s, they put a wood-burning stove in it, and trappers and hikers and things like that would use it almost like a cabin. So it was there for many years. It was there basically through the 70s, all the way until probably the late 90s, where it was helicoptered out to Healy. So they took a Chinook, it's a chopper, it's a military chopper, but they lifted the Bus 142 off, into the air all the way to Healy, so it wouldn't attract people because of the dangerous river. One of the Stampede Trail rivers have killed a couple of people so far trying to reach that bus. Both of them actually tried to cable cross this roaring river, and since they were tied to the cable, it pulled them under the river and drowned. It was both two women that did it. One was from, I think both of them were foreign. One from somewhere Eastern Europe or something, and they were trying to cross, and they went under the water and drowned. Since then, they decided to move the bus, and they have. So it's in a museum. So I don't know if he's going to see it or not. It'd be cool if he stops by. He'd have to get off that train. He's on some train called the Aurora Winter train. So I don't know if it would be convenient for him to get off and then go to the museum and then try to catch another train. He probably wouldn't be able to. It's very difficult to travel in Alaska. It's not easy. So he probably maybe had put it on his notes to go by there, but he'd have to stay there until the next train came by. Because you get so remote in that part of Alaska, Denali, you get so remote that you're only able to travel by train. There's few roads in that area. How Christopher McCandless got there, I don't know. I already downloaded his book, Into the Wild, or John Krakauer's book, to try to maybe understand exactly how he even got there. It's an amazing story. And welcome to the Please Subscribe show. It is Sunday, November 10th, 2023. It's about 82 degrees, believe it or not. 5,937 miles on the odometer. And welcome back. I did that backwards because I took a different way. But there's downtown Fort Worth. I went through the stockyards today. All right, first delivery, 1.6 miles. We'll arrive there at 6:05 p.m. And yesterday we did 101.8 miles. A lot of go-karts in Rockwood. Rockwood go-karts in Fort Worth, Texas. And when you're headed southeast, the evens are on the left. This one ends in a 6. It just shows the flag in the middle. On Google, which I still use Google Maps and CarPlay. I don't use Apple CarPlay because it mutes it, so you'd be able to hear me. I did it on the last update, so I just use those for right now until they reset the update. If they ever do. Next delivery, 2.9 miles. Arrival time is 6:23. It'll take 12 minutes. Now, in the case of this corner house, I'm headed west in this direction. The odd numbers are on your right, but if you counted this direction, the odd numbers would be on the left. So I always say, you're heading west, odd numbers are on the left. This one ends in a 1. So there are exceptions to the rule. So it's cool, even though in the future they'll probably be able to work Google Maps and stuff without a cord. I don't know if they'd be able to still mute if you were doing a show or something, but you can still see that it accesses the iPhone just through Bluetooth. I don't have the cord plugged in any longer after the recent update, so but I can still use aspects of Apple Car, even though that's just for the car, because that's the actual if you look at it, that's iPhone, or that's the iTunes that's still accessed there. But I'm able to use this as well. So it's got different songs on it and stuff like that. I go to media here, it'll show some of it. It's a really good song right there. And you can even hear it too. That's what's cool too. All right, next delivery, 1.3 miles, 5 minutes. We'll arrive at 6:55 p.m. All right, so when you're headed west, the odd numbers are usually on the left. And in this case, it is, because it ends in a 7. Next delivery, 2 miles, 8 minutes. will arrive at 7:08 p.m. All right, next delivery, 3.6, will arrive at 7:23. It'll take about 12 minutes. So one of the biggest mysteries about Christopher McCandless's death, who died in 1992, circa August, they don't know the exact date, but he was born February 12th of 1960. What the mystery behind his death is basically, how did he find the magic bus? How did he find bus 142? Was it a rumor in the Alaskan wilderness that that bus was out there? Did they already know? That, I would assume that that was the case, why he went over that particular river, which I believe was the Sushana River. There's also another river mentioned in some articles and stuff that starts with a T-E-K. I don't know if that river was one he dealt with, but he was right off the shore of Soshana. I think it's Soshana River. In the Denali area, also known as the Stampede Trail. If you found it by accident, and I think that's how Sean Penn directed it, I don't think he mentioned the bus beforehand. That was a godsend, because I don't see how he would have survived the winters. He would have. The bus may have been the reason why he died, because he would not have been able to camp out there without a really great tent and a potbelly stove or a wood burning stove or something like that to keep him warm, which he didn't bring with him. He had no gear at all. So he would have just went there and turned around and hiked back and went across the frozen river again. But he stayed, I think, 3 months, which the winter was changing. So the river was turning. When they say the river's turning, it's the warm water going to the top and the cold water going to the bottom. And it starts to break up the ice. And it does it pretty rapidly, almost like overnight. I experienced that when I lived in Maine, because many of the rivers would pretty much break up overnight. And then they would just start rushing. Pretty much impassable. You might be able to pass it. I don't really know. Some of the rivers look very dangerous when they're breaking up in ice like that. Whether he approached it then or he approached it when it was roaring, and he couldn't go by it that way. I guess the other option was just to go straight into the wilderness, and that it would just, he would have died by the elements. And also an interesting thing, and then cross-referencing A.D.W.C, Woo, who is sitting there driving by a Pizza Hut in a train. The weird thing is they did go by Denali. They did mention the mountains, so he went to Fairbanks. The bus has Fairbanks on the side of the bus, so he probably did that on purpose. I don't know. He didn't mention Christopher McCandless at all, which I thought was a mysterious thing. It was kind of like his spirit was in the air, as you're looking out in the wilderness of Fairbanks and that area that Christopher McCandless probably saw. So it's a good vlog to see the same things that Chris would have saw, and also to see what Adam sees. But Adam is a different type of traveler. He's a type that he'll drive by Pizza Hut and go, oh, there's a Pizza Hut right there, and he's in the train. So he kind of sticks to civilization, and he's not like a foresty forest, I would even say Chrome Valdez is a little, well, Chrome Valdez is more metro. He's more within the metropolis and civilization. But I would say that Foresty Forest is pretty dangerous traveler at times. He does carry bear spray with him, but he's out there on his own, and he has been rammed by animals and stuff. I think a ram got him one time, and he didn't film it. But anyway, I'm just saying this because it brings up that message. I mean, it brings up that story of McCandless and Into the Wild. I did get the book, so I went ahead and got the book. I got the sample. Whether I buy it or not, I'm probably going to want to. So it's Krakauer is the guy who wrote it. He was a reporter, so he became famous because he did this one show called The Death of an Innocent, which was about Christopher McCandless. It wasn't a show, but it was an article. He wrote an article. It was put into some well-known magazines and well-known newspapers, and that made Krakauer an author. I think it was the one that made him famous. I could be wrong. He may have had some other work too. He's done many different stories. One of them was about mountain climbers and Mount Everest. That one may have made him famous, but not as famous as Into the Wild, because it became a major motion picture. Just like songs, just like books. When it becomes a major motion picture, it's like the best advertisement for a person. Anyway, I did get the book anyway, and I am following the adventures of A.D.W.C too, to kind of cross-reference the story. But it's exciting to see. You know, Alaska is extremely exciting. You're going to be on your toes, whether it's winter or spring, because of the remoteness of it. It's so dang remote. You can fly over on a plane and go miles and miles and miles, half a day, and just see nothing but wilderness. All right, next delivery, 2.7 miles, 9 minutes. We'll arrive at 7:56 p.m. And the Three Dog Night in Little River Band coming November 17th. Pass all. Don't miss out. All right, yeah, this is the house that has the cool artwork inside of it. And their lock is from Mexico. A little lock right there. See how cool it is. Yeah, the other said it was actually from Mexico. I thought it was kind of cool. Cool looking thing right there. All right, next delivery is 2.3 miles, 8:06. We'll arrive in 6 minutes.